Hello, Read 180 students, and welcome to the last week of quarter three and also the last reading of our workshop Under Pressure. I think we can all agree that quarter three has been a quarter that we will remember for the rest of our lives. And I think there's been a lot of reasons that we have felt and experienced this pressure that this unit is talking about. Today, we are going to read the article, The Power of Peer Pressure. So, your task for right now is to follow along either on the PDF that we posted in our Google Classroom or on the screen that I'll be using as I read to you The Power of Peer Pressure. When you have listened to the article for the first time here, then you will read it for a second time on your own, and then finally you will complete the Google form that is associated with today's reading. So let's get started. Before we get to the actual article itself, let's take a look at the opening image so we can see the title in bold letters, The Power of Peer Pressure. And we talked about this a little bit in some of the other readings, especially in the reading with Eric and the incident on the train, about how this pressure that we sometimes receive from peers who are our friends or people of our own age can make us do things that we wouldn't have done on our own. Usually when we think of peer pressure, we think of it as a negative thing, but sometimes there's really positive peer pressure, and I wanted to make sure that we bring that out here. But as we continue to take a look at this opening page, you see the images of this group of young people. I don't know if they are feeling under pressure, if they are receiving peer pressure, or giving peer pressure, but their faces certainly look concerned to me. They don't seem particularly happy or cheerful. So maybe they, like some of us, maybe all of us, are dealing with this concept of pressure. So thank you for following along with me as I read today's article. And it begins like this. The pressure to fit in. Teens get pressure from all sides. They feel pressure to do well in school, to excel at a sport, or to look really good. But many teens say peer pressure is a serious challenge. It comes from wanting to fit in. The pressure to fit in is most intense in middle school or junior high. During these years, teens begin to rebel against their families. They start making decisions for themselves. They start to search for principles or beliefs to live by. For instance, a teen may decide that her principles, including keeping physically fit and alcohol free, another teen's principles may involve being loyal to his friends before his family. For many teens, friends become a new family. They join a group and begin to dress like their friends, act like their friends, and even think like their friends. Then the pressure is really on. Experts recommend a solution. Teens need to figure out when peer pressure is healthy and when it's not. With friends like these. Some students will do stupid, dangerous things like shoplift or drink just to fit in. But teens aren't stupid. They know their behavior is dangerous. They know it can lead to big trouble. So why do they do it? Because fitting in is more important than anything. What are teens to do? First, they need to develop confidence about their values. They need a clear idea of who they are and who they want to become. Then teens can begin to recognize those qualities in others. They can surround themselves with friends who pressure them in good ways, like joining a sports team. They can avoid friends who pressure them in negative ways, like doing drugs or cutting classes. Peer pressure gets physical. Hazing is an extreme form of peer pressure. Hazing happens when teens want to join a group. Older teens in the group put the new members through really embarrassing situations. Hazing has been a big problem with clubs and school teams. In 2003, 15 students in Chicago were charged with assault after a hazing. How did this happen? A group of senior girls invited a group of junior girls to play a football game. The game turned into a hazing. The seniors threw pig intestines and fish guts at the juniors. Kids, girls were beaten, kicked, and choked. In the end, 5 girls had to be taken to the hospital. One girl had a broken foot and another needed 16 stitches in her head. The incident was caught on video and shown on TV all over the country. The school expelled 33 seniors who participated in the hazing. Police charged 15 girls with battery, which is the legal term for attacking someone. 1 year later, 12 seniors pleaded guilty, and the rest of those charged were found guilty. They were sentenced to court supervision and community service. So here, as we continue on through the story, we have this chart that shows some of the ways in which teens have reported feeling pressure. Some of them feel pressure to study hard. Some of them feel pressure to party, which often includes drinking and using drugs. Some of them feel pressure to go on dates, to break rules, to drink, which is associated with the number 2, partying. And some feel pressure to smoke. A few of the juniors, back to the story about the hazing, who suffered from the hazing hired a lawyer. They filed a $1.5 million lawsuit against the girls who hazed them. The victims hoped that their lawsuit would make other people aware that hazing is a serious problem. They wanted to reinforce the message that hazing is wrong and must be stopped. Long-term solutions. Why is it so hard for teens to deal with unhealthy peer pressure like hazing? One problem teens have is that they focus on the short term. For example, a teen may feel pressure from friends to smoke. In the short term, smoking might seem like a solution, but it's not. Smoking can turn into a long-term problem. It is unhealthy and a hard habit to quit. A better solution is to think about life in the long term. The next time you are about to do something you may regret, like shoplifting, think in the long term that stealing is not worth getting a criminal record. Finally, experts remind teens that peer pressure doesn't last forever. If you can survive grades 6 through 8, then you've made it past the hardest part. Until then, stay tough under the pressure. So this article is geared right towards your age, those grades 6 through 8. And I just want to encourage you too that I know sometimes this pressure can be super intense from your families, from your friends, from us, your teachers, but lots of deep breaths, like the article says, think about the long term and survive the pressure, and you should be okay. Okay, with that, we just want to encourage you to go back through the article on your own and then go ahead and complete the Google form for this article. And we can't wait to talk to you soon. Bye.